Hello, this is Farrell Vincent, and I'm back. It's been a while, but the good news is that we managed to get back into some content mode after life hit hard. The twins were born, everyone was sick from daycare germs, and I had a nice 7.7 millimeter kidney stone, which sucked. So, apologies for being out for a while. It happens. But I wanted to come in today with a update for the channel, but also to start making some content again and to show you guys a brand new, well, less than a year old game that I've started playing and actually started to really enjoy. So if you want to check out this kind of content, stick around till the end of the video because you will understand way more about Watcher of Realms. So Watcher of Realms is a gacha style tower defense role-playing game, kind of, on the last part of that, but really it is a gacha mixed with a tower defense game. So think AOZ zombies mixed with all of your officers being actual characters that you need in order to progress the physical missions themselves. Now, where it is different than previous games that you may have seen on this channel is that the pay-to-win aspect of it does not get in the way of actually completing the story. You can absolutely do it with pretty much all of the free-to-play heroes that are in the game itself. And really and truthfully, it's not actually a very, I'm not going to say challenging because I think that's the wrong word, but it's not a very hardcore barring game itself, right? The bar to entry isn't so high that you absolutely have to spend in order to progress at certain points. I actually have not felt like I needed to spend at all in the entire game itself, which makes it a much better experience, I think, overall than, a game that is designed to be intrusive. It is designed to make you hit that wall and then to whip out your lovely plastic and ruin your life savings in order to progress past a certain point. And at no point does this game ever really do that. I know a lot of people who play this game very free to play and have a lot of fun with it. In fact, I have had a ton of fun and have spent fairly little in the grand scheme of things, about $100 in total. So it's pretty decent for that being the entire amount of my entire spend since I started playing this game 3 months ago. To contrast that to AOZ, I was about $10,000 3 months in, which is a bit different. So, yeah, that part's much better. I will take it. But the game itself has some quirks. Certainly, there's some mechanics that we will go through in their own separate videos. I don't want to get down into the minutia of like who does what and what heroes you can use for certain kinds of content. That'll be more for this series as we go forward. But for today, understand that there are heroes in the game. All of the game has different kinds of equipment that you can give those heroes. They have skill ranks and awakening levels. And those are the basic core tenets of what you are dealing with in terms of the game itself, as well as several different currencies to maximize and a bit of content to go through. And to the point of the content, there's a few different things that you will be doing on a daily basis. And so we will kind of discuss those in detail in their own videos, but they are arenas, guild-related challenges. So this is going to be Guild Boss and Guild Wars. And the last one being just kind of, in general, the campaign and raids. And I combine those together because they're really similar. There's a few other things out there too, like Void Rift, but I kind of consider that like PvE content, right? So you have your player versus player, that's your arena. Your guild, which is a mixture of player versus player and player versus environment, PvE, right? And then the core mechanics of like everything else that you're doing, getting gear, doing all these other things, is a PvE environment. And so those are just hard gear checks or a little bit of cheesy tactics depending on if you like the fromage or not. So the key ones to note are those three. And again, that's kind of how I break them down right now. The developer of this game is Moonton, and they are a relatively new-ish studio out of China, of course. And given previous gaming experiences, you may know I've had mixed reviews with certain developers of certain games that I used to play. In this case, I was a little bit more hesitant to get into another phone game that was monetized in a way that could be considered pay to win or is pay to win. I mean, there are aspects of this game that is absolutely pay to win. The difference, though, is with this developer specifically, I noticed that they have a very high public visibility around the Chinese phone esports series, which feels like a weird sentence for me to say out loud, given the fact that I've always been like a old school PC gamer, and really only in the last, 4 years or so started playing games on my phone that ultimately created this channel. So, I mean, count your blessings where you can. But the key with Moonton is that they do have a few games that are in that space and are relatively well received for not being so heavily monetized and not being so heavily pay to win. There is certainly a skill that is required within both Watcher of Realms, but also their game that is in that esports scene, which I saw, which was Mobile Legends, which is basically a lot like League of Legends, just on your phone. Go figure. The key element for this one, though, is that you can overcome a discrepancy with heroes, with skill, with gear, with time, but most importantly, a little bit of luck. Because there's a few things that you kind of need. I'm not going to say completely need, because there's a lot that you can do in this game 100% free to play with the worst heroes in the game. You really only need one or two good ones, and they actually give you quite a few of them throughout your progression through the game itself, right? One of the best tanks in the entire game comes from doing your first set of void dungeons. So once you complete those, you actually get a really good epic tank, right? Things like that. There's also something to be said at the end of the storyline. You get a hero by the name of Volca, who isn't bad. She's not great. She's actually pretty good, but she's not bad either, right? She's a solid, middle of the road fighter. So those are the key elements, I think, to really focus on when it comes to this particular developer and why I have chosen to make content on a game that has monetization like this again, because I've been very hesitant to do so about any of the other games I've played since leaving AOZ. So I just wanted to be very transparent about that, because I want you guys to know, I kind of care about how much money you can spend and need to spend in order to progress a game now. And I don't want to play a game that requires you to spend money in order to bypass an artificial barrier that was made to literally extract money from you. And that has not happened in 3 months of playing Watcher of Realms. I would definitely recommend you give Watcher of Realms a try. If you'd like to try this particular game out, I am going to leave an invitation code that comes from the in-game part. I'm not sponsored by this developer at all. We don't have any deals, nothing like that. But I do want to at least let my audience base know, hey, there's a game out there that could maybe scratch that tower defense itch and not break the bank at the same time, which is a very important aspect for me. I like strategy games. I like games that require me to think. And the best part of this game for me is that every hero becomes a tool in a toolkit. And every single hero can do something a little different, and they can all solve different parts of the same puzzle. So I can beat a level multiple different ways without needing a specific tool to beat a specific boss at a specific time that requires me to spend $9.99. That doesn't happen. You can use almost anyone to do almost anything, but there is a little bit of a caveat to say there's a few heroes that can't, like, attack air units. Like melee guys can't hit air units that don't have an ability that lets them do that. So you always have to be careful of what tools you're sending, but they're going to give you plenty of options. In the first hour of the game, you get several for free, and I mean completely free. They just put them in your account, and you will naturally get quite a few more as you progress through the game. So I don't want anyone to feel afraid, like, oh, hey, I have to spend money. Like, don't spend money. It's okay. Try it out and see how you like it, because so far, it's been a great 3 months for me, and honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to making some extra content for you guys. The game itself is good. It's got great bones. I love the mechanics. I will say the heroes are cool from a design and mechanics standpoint, but the story is a little suspect. But I like to delve into story too and the lore of the characters, so I've been slowly piecing that together on the side as I've had time, which is not much because, twins plus a toddler equals Feral Vincent doesn't do very much around the house, and really only got a chance to record today because the stars aligned. So I hope this helps. And speaking of the stars aligning, if you guys like my content, if you want to continue seeing more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I do plan on recording and producing a lot more content again going forward. For those of you who saw my AOZ content back when I was, in my heyday and had the ability to record fairly frequently, I was putting out videos fairly consistently, and I plan on getting back into that slowly. Life has changed enough at this point that I'm able to do that again, so I just want to let everyone know that more content is absolutely coming, and we're going to delve headfirst into Watcher of Realms and their characters and a lot of other things like that. As well, we might dabble here and there in what is trendy for video games, because I like to play lots of video games. I'm just saying. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel, supporting me. If you've made it this far, welcome back. If you, missed some of that content, I appreciate you. You're one of the real ones. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Please leave this video a like. Of course, hit the notification bell, because that does actually help when I'm making content on mature rated games like Final Fantasy XVI, cough cough. And I will absolutely see you again on the next one.